Monster Energy. Everybody knows White Monster Zero Ultra. That's the OG. It kicked off this whole zero sugar energy drink thing. But Ultra is a whole lineup now. You've got Strawberry Dreams, Blue Hawaiian, Sunrise, and Vice Guava. And they all bring the Monster Energy punch. So if you've been living in the white can, branch out. Ultra's got a flavor for every vibe. And every single one is zero sugar. Tap the banner to learn more.
Sierra has all the best active and outdoor brands for the super athletic stuff, like running gear for cruising up the trail. Woo! And the super athletic-ish stuff, like fishing gear for chilling by the creek. Nice cast. Fitness apparel to push for higher reps. You got this. And golf balls priced so you can afford to lose one. Or a few. Head to Sierra or Sierra.com for the brands you want at the prices that let you do it all. From athletic to athletic-ish, Sierra's got it.
This is Optimal Living Daily, Packing a Life, a study in the benefits of minimalism, and Go Forth Under the Open Sky and Listen to Nature, both by Ali Cornish of everthrive.org, and I'm Justin Malik. I share an article with you along with my commentary every day of the year as a little positivity practice that adds up over time. So let's keep adding as we optimize your life. Packing a Life by Ali Cornish of everthrive.org. What are we really doing when we pack our things in order to move someplace else? The phrase pack our things seems so simple and straightforward, monosyllabic, 3 words, action and results oriented. However, these words entail something much more than putting items into boxes. These words involve confronting the past and setting a new course for the future. Just last week, I officially moved from Chicago, Illinois to Fort Collins, Colorado. Moving myself physically was fairly undemanding. I packed some suitcases, boxes, plants, and a few other miscellaneous items into my small hatchback before Chauncey hopped into the passenger seat with his tennis ball. I left Chicago at 4:30 a.m. and drove away from the rising sun. I arrived at 7:20 p.m. just as the last rays of light waved goodbye beyond the foothills. Having arrived 6 weeks prior, Josh waited for me in the driveway, welcoming me into our new life. As I mentioned, the moving itself was easy. I simply drove from point A to point B. However, the work done to make this move happen was a bit more calculated. Quote, "The question of what you want to own is actually the question of how you want to live your life." Marie Kondo. Before the real packing began, Josh and I went from room to room contemplating each and every item we owned. We've been living together for 2 years, so by now his possessions had become my possessions and vice versa. In turn, we carefully considered each piece of artwork, each kitchen accessory, each pair of sheets, and each clothing item. We consciously evaluated our stuff using our own version of the Marie Kondo method. Does this item spark joy? Has that proven useful to us over the past year? Will this item have a purpose and place in our new lives? Have I worn that dress during the last 6 months? Will he ever wear that t-shirt again? We queried what we owned by thinking about the life we wanted to share together. When Josh and I had been dating for 6 months, we sat together and thought, what kind of life do we want? The answer to that question was easy. We want a simple life, an unencumbered life, a life where we are not held back by the physical and mental clutter of things. In order to achieve our goal, we have to allow ourselves to let go of the sentimental material goods from the past, therefore creating space for a more fulfilling emotional life for our future. Eliminating the excess is important so that we can move into the space beyond. The space where we will live should be a place for nurturing the people we are becoming instead of a feeding area for the spirits of the past. It is interesting to think about the action of packing and moving a life. The process involves just as much physical labor as it does mental labor. Packing and moving can be stressful and irritating, and people usually loathe the thought of moving. However, beyond every stressful, irritating cloud, there exists a silver lining. Packing and moving presents a special opportunity to evaluate a life lived, giving us a chance to shape how we want our lives to be in the future. Contemplating the things we own, deciding which things deserve to be carefully concealed with paper and securely packed into a box, allows us to revisit the past. It's turning the pages of the book of life, reflecting on bygone days while preparing for the future. When considered out of context, our boxes stacked in the garage ready to be Tetrised into our pod, are a snapshot in time. These boxes are a representation of who we are now and a harbinger of who we will become. When we packed our lives, we examined our inner selves, completing a rite of passage into our new life together. Go forth under the open sky and listen to nature by Cornish of everthrive.org. Many of you know that in addition to a writer, photographer, nature lover, and supporter of simple living, I'm also an English teacher. Every day I try and teach my students what it means to be moderate, respectful, and kind to themselves and others. Through literature, I can show them that nature can also teach them these things. The material doesn't always align, but sometimes the units coincide perfectly, and I take full advantage. Currently, my American literature students are exploring works by transcendentalist and romantic writers. Just yesterday, we read this poignant poem by William Cullen Bryant. In the following excerpt, Bryant praises the nurturing, mothering aspects of nature. The poem is particularly comforting to those who might succumb to depression, boredom, and loneliness, bringing thoughts of nature's constant healing presence to the reader. The poet describes nature's voice of gladness and ability to take away the pains of a troubled mind with her mild and healing sympathy. Quote, "To him who in the love of nature holds communion with her visible forms, she speaks a various language. For his gayer hours she has a voice of gladness and a smile and eloquence of beauty, and she glides into his darker musings with a mild and healing sympathy that steals away their sharpness, ere he is aware." End quote. In an era inundated with instant gratification, people, especially children, try to find the antidote to boredom, anxiety, disappointment, or sadness in technology. All too quickly, they reach for their iPads, computers, or their remote control. Perhaps a tiny remedy can be found there, but it won't be a cure. It'll be yet another distraction from an authentic chance to know themselves. Instead, if they go outside and contemplate the natural world, marvel at the change of colors in a tree in the front yard, or simply take their headphones off, they might be able to give their racing minds a chance to relax and recharge. Studies show that even pursuing an analog activity such as coloring, drawing, or writing in a journal would aid their ability to ascertain their true emotions and state of mind. This all applies to adults as well as children. Why does nature have this healing power? Why does everything get better when we walk down a secluded wooden path at twilight? When we contemplate the natural world, we see the clarity by which we actually exist. We humans are secondary to the cyclical rhythms of the world. We see the flowers emerging from the earth, unfurling skywards, flowering, then falling back asleep until the following year. We see the sun rise every day and the moon rise at night, regardless of the feelings that accompany our daily human struggles. The stars will always shine, the birds will continue to sing. As long as we care for it, nature will always be there as a constant comfort, while other aspects of our lives come and go. The essence of nature's healing is in its everlasting recurrence. We can trust in nature because nature always bears herself before us, offering what she can give, regardless of the season. It is through this relationship of trust that we can all, children and adults, come closer to trusting and knowing our true selves. Quote, "Go forth under the open sky and list to nature's teachings." William Cullen Bryant. You just listened to the posts titled "Packing a Life, a Study in the Benefits of Minimalism," and "Go Forth Under the Open Sky and Listen to Nature," both by Cornish of everthrive.org, and I'll be right back with my commentary. Have you been waiting for the perfect time to upgrade your tech? Good news, the wait is over. Dell Tech Day's annual sales event is here, and they're celebrating their best customers with fantastic deals on the latest PCs like the Dell 14 Plus with Intel Core Ultra processors. They've also got incredible perks like Dell Rewards, fast free shipping, premium support, price match guarantee, and more. And while you're upgrading your PC, you may as well go all out because they're also offering huge deals on their premium suite of monitors and accessories. You know what that means? That's right, you can get a whole new setup with amazing savings. Clearly, this is a sale you don't want to miss. Visit Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals rinse.com/deals.
Rinse knows that greatness takes time, but so does laundry. So Rinse will take your laundry and hand deliver it to your door expertly cleaned. And you can take the time pursuing your passions. Time once spent sorting and waiting, folding and queuing, now spent challenging and innovating and pushing your way to greatness. So pick up the Irish flute or those calligraphy pens or that daunting beef Wellington recipe card and leave the laundry to us. Rinse. It's time to be great.
Thank you to Allie. When it comes to our stuff, I always like to say that moving is the perfect time to reassess because you're forced to touch everything. Well, I guess you could pay someone to do it for you, but I think most of us would be packing up the majority of our own things, especially the smaller and sentimental stuff. So what better time to take a look and decide what we truly want to carry into our future? And it really is simple. Just a quick note of whether or not it's been useful or brought happiness in the past year. If not, let it go. And every item that is let go can feel like a weight off our shoulders because it's both a physical weight and a mental one, maybe even an emotional one. And funny that she mentioned analog because I just saw an article about how the rise of AI is causing a bit of a backlash. There's been a major spike in searches related to analog hobbies like knitting, journaling, and so on, which I think is great. As for nature, this shouldn't come as a surprise. There's something about being outside that helps us reset. So maybe today we can take a few minutes to step outside, even if it feels inconvenient, and just be present with whatever's around us. Doesn't need to be some picturesque place. Even just noticing one tree can help. So thank you again to Allie for the reminder, and thank you for being here. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll be back tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.